Chaos is a new kind of open science journal. We like to define ourselves a platform rather than a journal, just because we have added so many layers on top of a traditional journal. But we are, in fact, a journal. The way that a user can take advantage of chaos is by trying to submit a paper. By submitting a paper, okay, they can go to chaos.com, click submit a paper. They will be asked if they want to keep this paper as a preprint indefinitely, or at some point they will want to make it final on chaos. It means that the paper, regardless of their choice, will be posted as a preprint initially, and regardless of how many peer reviews the paper get, it can stay as a preprint if the users want to further submit these paper to any journal of their choice, maybe because they have some specific needs based on requests from their institution, the impact factor of a specific journal, and so on. Instead, if they are happy, if they are content with the paper being published, finalized on Chaos, they can request that. And if the paper passes our peer review threshold, which means it passes, it has received at least 4 peer reviews with an average rating for overall quality of 3 out of 5, for clarity of 3 out of 5, for novelty 2.5 out of 5, and impact 3 out of 5. If they pass these if they meet these requirements, they will have their paper published on Chaos if they requested that.
Hello, everybody. Today I have a special guest, Gabriel Marinello. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, but he's an excellent person to be today with us, telling us about chaos. Sometimes I pronounce it chaos, but I know it's originated from the word chaos. And chaos is a revolutionary new way of publishing science. It's a revolutionary new way of looking at the whole journal publishing industry. And we are very, very glad that today we have with us the founder of Chaos, Gabriel Marinello. And I don't know much about Gabriel, but I want to hear that from his own mouth. And he's going to tell us about his journey, why he started Chaos. So, Gabriel, hello, how are you?
Hello, hello. I'm well, thank you. And the pronunciation is correct of both my name and the platform, Chaos, the journal. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to join this meeting. I'm really pleased to tell the listeners about what we are doing with Chaos. A little bit more about the background, how we got started, and everything else. So thank you so much. Very glad.
Before talking about Chaos, tell us about yourself. Who are you? How did you think about this? What is your qualification? What's your life journey?
Yeah, sure. So I can listen as a background. I dropped out more or less of medical school during my last year of medical school to start this project with initially a professor of mine, a professor of facial surgery. That was what I was intended to pursue in my career, but after I started preparing my thesis, I realized that that there were so many issues in the publishing industry that I wanted to solve somehow, because from back in the days, from the fact that most of the research was closed access. Luckily, right now things have started to change. So from that, starting from that to other issues that we are trying to solve with the platform. So my background is in the biomedical field, and yes, I can say that mostly my working career is a chaos. So yes, and again, the project started with me this professor of mine, Alberto Bedogni, his brother Giorgio Bedogni, and then a couple more co-founders that that have joined down the road. So yes, this is a little bit of a story behind how it got started. Yeah.
So where do you stay, and where is Kiosk registered, and where all have you traveled for Kiosk? And where were you doing? Where did you drop out from college?
Pardon, can you just repeat the question?
Where do you stay currently, and where is Kiosk registered, and where is it based? Which country, and for example, which university were you in where you dropped out, and uh,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, why so many countries? Because I read Kiosk is registered not in Italy, it's registered in some other country. So tell us about, is it about to make it globalized, or what's the story?
Yeah, sure. So basically, during at University of Padua, I during this last year, can you hear me? Because I think okay, now you can. Last year, I started an internship in London at Guy's Hospital in facial surgery, and I was there when the idea came to my mind of chaos of developing this platform and so on. So I was in London, and I decided that it was a good place to start the business, even because there is a kind of ecosystem around academic publishing there. Some major publishers are based in the UK, specifically in London. These are part of the reasons why an Italian like me started a company in the UK. I
Right.
was there when it got started, and the ecosystem we thought was the right one. The right one. Yeah.
Right. You spoke about closed journals when you were trying to submit your own thesis, and you realized that the system is not correct. So we'll talk about what are the problems with the traditional publishing. But I want to talk about the problem with open access first. I'm sure people know that Kiosk is an open access journal. That means the readers do not pay to read whatever somebody has published, whatever somebody has submitted. It's only the authors who are paying for it. So I read that your cost is just like a subscription model. Getting on Kiosk is just like buying Netflix. You have to pay per month. It's not like you have to pay per paper, etc. So why do you think open access journals are outrageously expensive? And if they are so outrageously expensive, what is the cost of Kiosk? And I think it's affordable. How can you make it affordable?
Yes, sure. Great questions. So the major reason why I believe open access journals are expensive is that they can kind of afford it because they are providing prestige. This means that there are a lot of scientists that are in need of publishing in some specific journals that have specific impact factors or are particularly recognized in the field and so on. So these demand of these journals can be easily met by an offer that can raise the price up to the points that we are witnessing. You see, so yes, the major reasons. The major reason, sorry, why open access journals are expensive, I believe, is mostly this one. Not really because it is very expensive to run the business. In fact, if you do a little research, profit margins for academic publishers are among the highest in any field. I mean, from automotive to any kind of field that you can think of. So there is room for improvement in terms of lowering the costs. And yes, we have developed a new business model in this sense, the one which you mentioned, which basically is based on the fact that APCs create a bad incentive for for journals to publish any kind of research just because they are getting a per article fee of around 2,000 USD. Currently, this is more or less the average price, regardless of the field. Is a median price regardless of the field. So yes, imagine if you are collecting 2,000 USD per article, you are definitely incentivized in accepting as many articles as possible, regardless of the quality of the papers, of how the peer review was performed. And currently in the traditional system, in the open access system, no one really see how the peer review is performed. So some journals are asking even for just one peer review, and then they decide based on that one if they want to publish the paper or not. And this again is because they want to publish as many papers as possible. So we wanted to get out of this bad loop, you see. So we started thinking about a model where we weren't in fact incentivized in publishing as many articles as possible. In fact, regardless of how many articles you publish on CHAOSS, which means it can be 1 per year or 10 per year, sorry, or 20, you are paying a monthly fee that is also cancelable at any time if you are a slow publisher, let's say that. So we wanted to provide the lowest rate possible that we could afford ourselves to maintain the business, but at the same time we wanted to get out of that bad loop. So again, researchers on CHAOSS can even publish for free if they are able to attract with their paper, they are able to attract enough peer reviewers, which are of course checked for suitability. All the peer reviews are checked for suitability and so on. So if the paper is able to attract enough peer reviewer, you can even publish for free. Okay, this happens usually with, as you can imagine, papers that are that have the ability to go viral somehow, okay, just because the topic is hot and so on. Otherwise, you can publish for as low as $4.99 USD per month in lower income countries, and $24.99 per month in richer countries. With this fee, you can publish as many articles as possible. You can get access to additional services like grammar correction, social media promotion, the ability to revise your article limitless. So a set of features that are there to improve and your article. And yes, we believe that publishing can be definitely more affordable, and we are kind of proving it, especially in an era where AI is helping the work of an editor, for example, so much. So by blending humans with AI technologies, we are able to take down costs to this point where a person is paying $50 a year for publishing in low income countries, for publishing as many articles as possible, or around 300 pounds a year for in richer countries for publishing again as much articles as possible. So this is not even a tiny fraction of what they are paying for APCs traditionally. And again, our recipe is this blend of humans, skills, AI, and the fact that we started anew. So without all that all structure that somehow in well established companies need to takes time to shut down.
Right.
Some pieces that are not needed anymore takes time to shut down.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, this is more or
Got it.
less our business
So,
model.
yeah, so I'll come to the AI that you've mentioned, but I want to talk about the business of indexing. Chaos has been trying to get indexed. And when I first saw index some time back, it was indexed in Google Scholar. Then there was an up and down, and it was indexed in DOAJ. And then right now it's indexed in the European PMC, and it's indexed in a few more. But it's not indexed in PubMed, it's not indexed in Scopus, it's not indexed in Web of Science. So what's this indexing business all about? And what has been your experience in dealing with the indexing organizations? And as a researcher, should we really care about indexing? Is my question to you. Give me a genuine answer, because researchers need this kind of information, because there's this whole world about indexation. There's this whole world about how there are only a few journals which can pass the indexation barrier. So what tell us about it?
Yes, sure. So our story with indexing is tied to the fact that initially we were mostly posting preprints rather than final publications, you see. So we started just to enter the business, which is a business where is kind of difficult to enter in. There are a lot of barriers to entry, and indexing is one of them. So we started with preprints where the barriers to get started are much lower. And then we developed everything that we developed was an evolution of the fact that we attached the peer reviews to preprints and it naturally brings brought us to what Chaos is right now. So a platform where you can have your final publication published. So for a few years, we've been mostly a preprint platform, and with a preprint platform, you cannot get indexed in major databases that easily, you see, because again, papers are not vetted, the databases are mostly designed to index the final articles, so peer-reviewed articles and so on. So we needed to wait for some time before getting the indexations that we have right now. Okay, so even Google Scholar at the very beginning was not getting all our papers. Now it does. Then we got Europe PMC and all the other indexing databases that one can see on the platform. If this is needed or not, I believe that indexing, like think of Google Scholar, for example, which is a low end indexing type. Okay, so is not really high end in the industry. But think of Google Scholar. Being on Google Scholar means being more discoverable, right? Because people can find your work more easily. So databases in general have a benefit, provide a benefit in terms of visibility, in discoverability, and so on. The fact that then they have been used to track the performance of the individual researchers in their institutions, it's there where the problem lies, in my opinion. The fact that your value as a researcher is based on the quartile of the paper, of the journal,
But
where
yeah, to
yes.
interrupt you here, but at the same time, academicians might believe that once something has been very rigorously done, it will reach the level of the high-end journals who are indexed in very good places. So there is one side that you are trying to talk about. The other side is
Yep.
that it creates a very nice filter of getting the best.
Yep,
So
you're
carry on
right.
with what
You're
you're
right.
saying.
Exactly. It definitely creates a filter. So being indexed in some databases means that some very forgive me the word, very crappy journals are left behind, while at the same time, I mean, good journals are let in. But at the same time, this means just being able to divide, low quality journals from high quality, from good quality journals in a very broad sense. The fact that then these is used to evaluate the fact that a journal is indexed to and with some metrics, some specific metrics like the citations for the journals. I'm talking more about the rankings than that these databases have created. So the quartile, all the metrics, the impact factors, impact factor, all the metrics that are attached to that are provided from these databases that are used for the evaluation of the individual researchers. These may be not the best possible thing that we can do in terms of evaluating researchers. Imagine you can have a paper published in a good journal with zero citations, exactly zero, but the journal was a good journal, and then you are promoted just because the journal was in that quartile and so on. So this is not the best that we can do. In reverse, you can have a great publication that got rejected so many times that you're not even bothering anymore in publishing it in some good journal, okay, some major journal, and that publication end up your best publication ever. So we need some more, something that is more targeted to the individual, not just the individual researchers, but also the individual publications, you see?
Got it. So, there is this thing about, uh, in my personal experience, what I found is that one of my papers that was published in Chaos, I got two people who called me and said that we read your work and then we are calling you because it's available. It's so nicely recognizable by search engines, which a lot
Yep,
of my good works, which were in journals behind paywalls, that nobody read because they were behind paywalls. So I agree with
exactly.
what you're saying, and that is true. But on the other hand, for example, if I approach anybody from the medicine industry, they said that the minimum that they required is PubMed because they want to make sure that it gets searched in PubMed. So I am very sure that now your preprints and other
Yep,
works which are COVID related are in PubMed.
you're right.
But what is your how much time do we expect Kiosk to be on PubMed?
Yeah, I believe the next year, by 2025, chaos can be seen indexed in PubMed. Again, it took some time to create this transition from a preprint platform to a full fledged journal, and we want to make sure that with our submission for inclusion in PubMed, we tick all the boxes, just to be sure that we're not left behind. So in 2025, I believe that users could see chaos indexed in PubMed. Yeah, fingers
Ve-
crossed though.
Yeah. So, all the best to Kiosk, all the best to you. We just really hope to see it indexed in PubMed. But when it becomes PubMed, will you increase the subscription cost?
We don't plan right now to increase the subscription cost for at least the next 12 months. And as a general rule, we are planning to keep model that is the lowest, the lowest we plan. So yes, as I was saying, we are planning to keep chaos the cheapest option on the market possible, compatible with our offering. So we are doing it right now with a huge margin in terms of our costs. A huge gap between the cost of publishing on Chaos and competitors, and we are planning to keep this gap as wide as possible.
Got it.
So
Right.
yes.
Yes.
So yes.
And you're the cost that you've kept for India and other low income countries has been 499 per month compared to your normal 2499 per month. So that's a great thing for Indian researchers, and I'm sure after you've done that there has been some change. So in the number of Indians who have subscribed to Kiosk. So my question to you is this: what has been your experience with the Indian publishing, the Indian research, your interaction with the Indian research community, your interaction of Indian researchers with the Kiosk platform? So tell us about the Indian side of the story.
Yes, sure. We can say that India is currently one of the major users, not just among the low-income countries in terms of those priced at 499, but in general, it is just behind the US, the UK, Italy, France. So some countries in Europe and the United States, and then comes India. So is one of our major users, and we have seen a lot of great research coming from India, a lot of engagement from peers who are willing to peer review for colleagues in India and outside India. So for papers that are published in Europe, in the US, in Australia, in other regions. So a lot of engagement, good quality engagement, and for these reasons, we are planning to keep serving India as to the best of our capabilities. I mean, India is definitely a country that is immediately in the hotspot of our attention. So we will keep serving India as best as possible.
So what plans do you have for India apart from, you're saying it's your hotspot. So what can Indian users see in the future? What is Kiosk going to do for Indian users that's going to be a little more than what it's doing for the rest of the world?
Yeah, I believe that our business model is designed to accommodate the needs of researchers, especially in the low income countries at this time, because as you know, and your experience maybe like this. So the fact that some journals are not accessible in terms of APCs by Indian scientists, so they are left out of some major academic circles and so on. So we believe that our model is designed to best serve not just Indians, but other great scientists in low-income countries. So yes, I think that the fact that we are delivering exactly the same platform to high-income countries and low-income countries, and we're planning to keep doing the same at a price that is advantageous for low-income countries. It means that yes, I believe we are serving India and similar countries quite well. Yeah.
Right. And talking about journals which have the similar open peer review model as yours, because that's something very peculiar and very good about Chaos is that it is using an open peer review model. And there's a lot of conversation about that open peer review will make sure that colleagues give very positive comments because their own name is coming in front, and they would just don't want to, do anything behind the back, and they would make sure that it's very constructive feedback that is given because it's published with their name.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
but at the same time, we see that lot of traditional journals, traditional companies have also started the same model. We look at F1000, we look at eLife. They also follow the same kind of model that Kiosk follows. So, do you think that in the future, all the traditional publishing will become open peer review, and then Kiosk will not be able to survive in the market?
Yeah, so great question. I believe that more and more journals with follow this path will follow this path of opening up the peer review process. And let me just say this will probably be the effect of some players that have opened up, and the people, the scientists, the community that realize that they want to see what happens behind the scenes, right? And then probably they will pressure more traditional journals to open up the peer review process as well, not just researchers, but also research funders. So I believe that the pressure will come from the community, the academic community, to open up at large, so funders included, and so on, to open up the peer review process, so anyone can see what is happening behind the scenes in a era where again, the open access model right now is incentivizing in publishing a low quality research because they get the fees. Okay, so I believe that the direction will be that one. But I also believe that being one of the few players that are doing it right now provides us with a time advantage and a technology advantage, a feedback advantage from the community that we can leverage on. So we want to keep innovating far beyond what users can are able to see right now. Okay, far beyond what KIOS sees right now. We have some interesting innovations already that are in the pipeline, and we want to keep these innovation threshold pretty high, just to make sure that we leave all the possible competitors behind by providing added value for real. Okay, not just prestige of being indexed in a major database and that's it. You see, we want to keep providing as much value as possible, and I think we will witness some some interesting innovations that will come not just from us, but also other players in the industry, actually, just as AI keeps advancing at this pace. We are here to lead the race, okay? And we believe that we have learned a lot so far, and we will keep our innovation pace as high as possible.
Right. Thank you. You also pointed out about AI. AI, a lot of people have doubts about AI. People say that AI cannot be reliable enough. And you're talking about that AI is assisting editors, AI is assisting the screening of journals, papers when they are being submitted to Kiosk. So should people be fearful that Kiosk uses AI for gatekeeping rather than using a real human being who's an expert for gatekeeping? What are your views on that?
Yes, we believe we are using AI responsibly in this sense. We are using it for tasks where AI excels. Okay, imagine one example for all to judge the quality of the language of a paper. Okay, that is a kind of a quite easy task for an AI to assess if the quality of the language is good, relatively good or not. Okay, rather than having a person that spend a lot of time reading the entire paper, finding the errors, the mistakes, judging the paper on a reliable scale, and so on. So we are using the AI for all those tasks where we strongly believe that it can already do on par as experts, okay, or even better in terms of efficiency, time it takes, and so on. At the same time, we're not using AI for everything. In fact, we are using peer reviewers, experts in the field to judge the quality, to assess the actual quality of a paper. So yes, imagine that an initial screening can be performed to see if an article is at least it surpasses at least a minimum threshold. It can be done by AI quite efficiently and reliably. Right now, for assessing the specific quality of a paper, for telling if that paper really can have an impact in the society, in the academic community, and so on, AI is not ready yet. Okay, in fact, we are using as many peer reviewers as possible to assess that.
Got it. You know, if I look at other preprint servers like medRxiv, bioRxiv, you know, what I believe is that when you submit papers to them, even the initial screening is done by some human. And, you know, if you're submitting something to Chaos, and of course, there's going to be a peer reviewer who's going to peer review. But let's say there's a gap of a week, or let's say 5 days or 3 days. What is the risk that can there be dangerous signs that can be put up on the internet for somebody to read on Chaos if it is not screened by humans? Can AI be fully reliable in that?
So again, we believe that AI is able trained models. I made the example with grammar, for example, the language quality of a paper. Yes. So for other things, things other than grammar, like assessing if all the ethical guidelines were followed, and so on, we have trained models that are able to locate all this. And I believe that also the other players like arXiv, medRxiv, and so on, they will follow suit. I mean, they are probably already developing their models, and you know, use AI for as many tasks as possible, where they are performing as well as humans, but with a tiny fraction of the effort, with no effort at all. So we believe that we are filling all the needs for a good pre-screening, okay, to put a preprint online, and then the paper with the label preprint means that is not already has not been vetted already, and has not been vetted yet, and then the peer reviewers start their evaluation, come into play, and they start evaluating the papers. This means that not all papers receive a positive reception from peers, of course. So there are papers that do not surpass the threshold of the pre-checks, and there are papers that do not surpass the threshold for the evaluation of the peer reviewers. You end up with all those papers at the very end of the process, with all those papers that the community of peers at large have established to be good papers, okay, and of course are aligned with all the guidelines, ethical guidelines, anything that a paper should have, depending on the field.
Got it. So you spoke about AI models which can do the very good pre-screening. My question to you is, are these AI models open source or they are proprietary models that you have developed in-house?
So we have developed them in-house based on of course, models that are available to anyone, from GPT to OpenAI models, Llama, and so on. Of course, we took these models, and then we started training them depending on our needs. So these models are again, the base models are available for anyone, okay? But we have trained them specifically to meet the needs that we wanted to meet.
Got it. So, you've spoken a lot about technical information about chaos. Now, let's, before ending this, I want to ask you this one small request. For somebody who's looking at this video first time and who's hearing about chaos first time, tell us about chaos for a minute and then tell us the step-by-step procedure by which somebody can publish in chaos.
Yes, sure. So Chaos is a new kind of open science journal. We like to define ourselves a platform rather than a journal, just because we have added so many layers on top of a traditional journal. But we are, in fact, a journal. The way that a user can take advantage of Chaos is by trying to submit a paper. By submitting a paper, okay, they can go to chaos.com, click submit a paper. They will be asked if they want to keep this paper as a preprint indefinitely, or at some point they will want to make it final on Chaos. It means that the paper, regardless of their choice, will be posted as a preprint initially, and regardless of how many peer reviews the paper get, it can stay as a preprint if the users want to further submit these paper to any journal of their choice, maybe because they have some specific needs based on requests from their institution, the impact factor of a specific journal, and so on. Instead, if they are happy, if they are content with the paper being published, finalized on Chaos, they can request that. And if the paper passes our peer review threshold, which means it passes, it has received at least 4 peer reviews with an average rating for overall quality of 3 out of 5, for clarity of 3 out of 5, for novelty 2.5 out of 5, and impact 3 out of 5. If they pass if they meet these requirements, they will have their paper published on Chaos if they requested that.
And they can also submit it elsewhere if it does not reach the threshold, or they want to, not publish it in Chaos. Is that right?
Exactly. That is correct. That is
Right.
exactly how it works. Yeah.
Got it. So thank you so much for sharing these details. I just want to end this very nice interview that we've had, and all the information that you've shared about Chaos, with asking you about what has been your personal experience in doing this work. What has been the instances or anecdotes that you have come across in dealing with indexing organizations, researchers, reviewers, even venture capitalists, and so many other people? So I would like you to be a little bit candid and tell us about your experience, and share some nice incidences that happened while you were trying to set up Chaos.
Yes, sure. I believe, to be totally honest, I believe it has been a million times more difficult than what we expected it to be at the very beginning. A million times, because of all the barriers that we encountered down the road that we didn't even believe existed.
Like,
You know,
like, what
like the fact that in this business, to be recognized as a proper journal, you need to have I mean, easy things, low-hanging things like an ISSN. So you need to get that. Then you need to get DOIs with Crossref, but these are very easy to get. With all these, you need to start your path of having the first researchers trusting you for their first papers, and you are still no one. You do not have a name. You do not have a journal indexed in some major databases. So our initial path of initial idea of, okay, let's start a journal, and tomorrow we will have a journal where everyone wants to publish in. Okay, got shredded, I would say, after 1 week or 10 days. So these are the reasons why we took the preprint path at the very beginning, just to be able to have the first users without compromising their research, I mean, their expectations about the articles, where they could publish them, and so on. And then we convinced some major researchers about the values, about our mission, our vision, the values that we wanted to provide with CHAOSS, and so we convinced them that it was a good thing to give CHAOSS a try. But you ask 100 person at the very beginning, and you get one yes and 99 no's. So it isn't that easy to start a project from zero, and especially in a business, I would say, in a business where you cannot have all the requirements from T0, from time zero, just because for example, just to be able to submit an indexing application to, I don't know, Scopus, Web of Science, you need to be at least 3 years old, 2 years old, depending on the indexing database. And at the same time, they want to see high quality research, but to get high quality research, you need to get indexed. So, you know,
Chicken and egg.
A chicken and egg problem at its finest, I would say. So so yes, these were the major, again, probably the fact that it's an industry where you need to have a lot of prestige to get papers, okay? But you cannot build the prestige from T0 because of all the barriers, okay? Again, like waiting times to get indexed. In fact, I believe that the industry is not innovating at the pace. Imagine, in this industry, there are scientists that are developing incredible stuff all day, okay? I mean, scientists in their daily works, they are developing NASA scientists, any kind of scientists, or new vaccines, anything that you can believe of. And still, it took 25 years, sorry, to get to open access when the internet was already more or less open anywhere else, or similar things. Okay, so again, the fact that the peer reviews are not open, the fact that you're not seeing what is happening behind the scenes, where in fact the internet has become, you know, an open place for anyone anywhere in the globe. Instead, here, I mean, all these things are already done. Are still done the same way they used to be done, where when journals used to be printed and delivered at home. Can you believe that? So I believe that part of the reasons why all these, I mean, why the pace of innovation in this industry is so slow, is the fact that there are so many barriers to entry to new players. Okay, so many. It is so difficult to enter. Imagine if you want to open a pizza shop tomorrow, you can do that. you open a pizza shop and you start your business. If you want to start a journal with all the minimum requirements that are I mean requested by institutions and so on, you need to start the business and then wait at least 3 years to be able to submit for getting these requirements. So it's not easy. It's not easy to start a business like that. Yeah.
So you still call it a business. So that means that the people who funded you and people who put their faith in you. So was it through venture capitalism that you raised all this money, or is it your friends and family or your own funds? If you want to tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. To get started, it was personal funds plus family and friends. So there are no major venture capitalist firms in at play or anything else. So we wanted to get started. Even considering what I said before, we thought it was a million times easier to get started. Okay, we didn't think that we needed so much money. We needed so much so much of anything. So we started with our own money, and then we kind of bootstrapped up until now, okay, with that little injection of money, and then with our revenue model, our business model that proved to be a good one. Otherwise, we wouldn't be there. We wouldn't be here. Sorry, right now. Yeah.
So there has been no venture funding that you have received. It's all based
Yeah.
on this.
No venture funding.
That's
No venture.
amazing. So that brings me to this question. We saw another journal which I'm not going to name. They started with a very good, thing that they want to make research easy to do. It's a medical journal, but eventually, when they got an offer from a big publishing house, they sold. So, will Kiosk, when it becomes a little bit more reliable, indexed, and famous, will somebody come and buy Kiosk and acquire? Will a big player tomorrow come and acquire Kiosk? Is my question to you.
Yes, for the same reason why, we tried to do everything with our own money and so on. We didn't got money from venture capitalists. We are here to change the system. You see, we are here to keep innovating at our own pace, which is I can say that it is much higher than the pace of innovation that you can see at these major publishers. So if we want to keep I mean, keep winning, keep growing, and so on. I believe that it is better that we become sorry that we rest independent, that we stay independent. Yeah.
Got it. So finally, last question. What's your message for people, for researchers and other people who are listening to us today?
Yes, sure. The most important message would be this: try new things. Don't be scared of trying new things, because in so many instances you really do not have nothing to lose and a lot to gain. And one example for Chaos is try posting a preprint. With a preprint, you have nothing to lose and a lot to gain. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of, oh my God, this is a new tool. I've never heard about it anywhere, so I won't trust it. Okay. Maybe do a little research online. Try to see what the initial users. This is not just for Chaos, but in general, what the initial users, which are called pioneers in the tech industry, say about a new tool, a new platform, and so on, and try and give it a try yourself. In many instances, again, there is totally nothing to lose, and instead a lot to learn. A lot to learn about from other initial users. A lot to learn for your career purposes and so on. So yes, be a little bit be a little bit more, childish in this sense. Try new things. Try new things.
Right. So I would request all the listeners to kindly look into Chaos. I have been personally using Chaos, and I realized that even when you don't want to keep your paper into Chaos as a final version of record, even for the sake of getting amazing feedback on your paper as a preprint, it is mind-blowingly good, because usually the kind of people who reviewed my papers initially were amazing expert people who chose to review my papers, and all those feedback enabled me to get some of my preprints published in good journals. And now, of course, when I realized that it's better to get the message off correctly, quickly, I have now chosen to publish some of my works in Chaos as final versions of record. And I really hope that one day it becomes an index journal, so that I can be more further encouraged to publish my work on Chaos itself. So thank you so much, Gabriel, today for giving time to us and for talking to the listeners. And I'm sure we have learned a lot today from you. And I'm sure Chaos keeps innovating and keeps creating good solutions for researchers in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raja, and to all the listeners. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.